Caledonia, Minnesota. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. I hope I am. If I had to guess, most of you have never heard of Caledonia, Minnesota. I had never heard of this small town until this weekend when one of you guys sent me this story from CBS News about this small town community. There are less than 3,000 people living in Caledonia, Minnesota. The town is, I don't know, about 3 hours from Minneapolis, even further to Milwaukee. There is not a major city within decent driving distance of Caledonia. Small towns like this, in most cases, they are heavily reliant on one company to keep the community afloat. Several years ago, in a small town in Mississippi, an oil company decided to shut down its operations. I can't remember the exact reasoning for it. I believe it had something to do with the federal government making it prohibitively expensive for them to continue drilling for oil. Either way, whatever the reason was, it doesn't matter. Because when this company shut down, the small town in Mississippi shut down right along with it. They've never recovered. That is the scenario that people living in Caledonia, Minnesota are facing right now. For generations, Miken Sports has been the largest employer in Caledonia. Before the COVID, Miken Sports employed over 150 people. The manufacturing plant produces helmets that are used by Major League Baseball players. They also produce baseball equipment for kids, bats, stuff like that, but the big moneymaker for the facility is the helmets that they sell to Major League Baseball. A while back, Miken Sports sold out to Rawlings Sporting Goods, which is partially owned by Seidler Equity Partners. The other owner is none other than Major League Baseball. No big deal, right? I mean, that should have been good news for the good people of Caledonia, right? They now have major money backing the facility. Major League Baseball, they not only purchased their helmets from the plant, but now they have a financial interest in the facility. They're vested. All is right, correct? Wrong. Earlier this summer, it was announced that within 18 to 24 months, the manufacturing plant in Caledonia, Minnesota would cease to exist. Every person working in that facility will be unemployed. Now, sometimes when companies make these decisions, they offer employees the opportunity to move along with the company to the new manufacturing location. But that is not an option for the people of Caledonia, unless, of course, they want to go live in China, because that is where Major League Baseball has decided to move manufacturing. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that not one person working for Miken Sports in Minnesota is moving to China. Now the question is, why? Why are Rawlings and Major League Baseball moving manufacturing operations over to China? Major corporations have been moving production overseas for decades now, but eliminating American jobs and moving a facility to China right now? The timing could not be worse. The relationship between America and China has never been worse, at least in my lifetime. China has been killing American jobs for decades by offering corporations cheap labor. They ship millions of products per day into the country. Along with those products, they also ship fentanyl, other drugs, oh yeah, and a thing called the COVID. Then they tried to cover up the COVID with the help of Anthony Fauci, who should be in prison right now, instead of remaining the highest paid employee in the federal government. But I digress. For years, Major League Baseball has struggled with public relations here in America. The NFL and even the NBA, most of the time, they are brilliant at marketing their league. Major League Baseball is terrible marketing the game. That's one of the reasons the Field of Dreams game last month was such a big deal. It was the first time in a long time that Major League Baseball actually marketed and promoting something, did it well, and it worked. It was the most watched regular season game in years. Recently, Major League Baseball makes headlines more for their mistakes than the product on the field. They have never recovered from the steroid scandal. Rob Manfred made the decision to move the All-Star game from Atlanta to Denver a few months ago over political reasons. Last summer, we witnessed Major League Baseball players, most of which are not even from America, kneeling for the national anthem, disrespecting the military, disrespecting the country that gave them the opportunity to escape poverty, in most cases, third world countries, and make millions of dollars. But none of that mattered. They just had to protest the myth of systemic racism. So, with a history of negative PR, and during a time where Americans have this heightened sense of resentment towards China, why would Major League Baseball make the decision to eliminate jobs here at home and ship those jobs over to China? Mike Thompson, the chief marketing officer at Rawlings, he provided the reasoning for us. Here is what he had to say, quote, "You've got a worldwide leader that you just acquired with world-class manufacturing, and you wrestle with all of these decisions. And unfortunately, it just made better sense for us to utilize the factory in China," end quote. He went on to say that Rawlings and Major League Baseball, they were aware of how bad the optics were going to look. They knew it's going to piss people off. That is, if this story were to receive any media attention nationally, which so far has not been the case. CBS News, to their credit, they reported on it recently. But other than that, this story has received little to no attention from the mainstream media. It's been buried. Not even mainstream conservative media is reporting on this. Now, even though Major League Baseball is aware of the optics, they just don't care. Supposedly, the reason they are moving manufacturing to China, going from what they call a world-class facility in Minnesota to what I would imagine is a sweatshop in China, they're doing this because they will save $4 million per year. $4 million. Around $11,000 a day. Now, that may sound like a lot of money, but $4 million would not make a dent in the bank account of Rawlings and Major League Baseball. It would be like you and me losing 11 cents a day. If you lost 11 cents, is it going to negatively impact your life? No. You probably wouldn't even know it's missing. Major League Baseball is wrecking the lives and possibly shutting down a small American town to save $4 million. Rawlings' annual revenue is $330 million a year. Major League Baseball, they have annual revenues close to $4 billion a year. And they're concerned with saving pennies on the dollar? I'm not buying it. The decision to move this facility, I don't think it has anything to do with money. It appears to me Major League Baseball is copying a page from the NBA playbook and shifting their focus to the Chinese market. Back in April, Rob Manfred signed a 3-year deal with Tencent, a major media corporation in China, for the rights to broadcast Major League Baseball games. They have the MLB Cup in China, grooming Chinese youth to be the stars of tomorrow in Major League Baseball. Think about it. Baseball has been struggling domestically for years now. They've never recaptured what I call the golden age of baseball, which to me was the 90s and early 2000s. Now, whether you want to admit it or not, steroids and PEDs, they made Major League Baseball more entertaining. Like I said a second ago, they have never recovered from the damage of the steroid scandal. The attention span of Americans is getting shorter and shorter. And there is no way to speed up the game of baseball. Now, instead of Rob Manfred figuring out how to market and promote the game better domestically, they see the blood money that the NBA is making over in China, and they decide to follow suit. The people of Caledonia, Minnesota, they're just collateral damage. CBS News is reporting that the closing of this facility is going to eliminate 80 jobs, but that's just at the manufacturing facility. That does not account for the secondary jobs that are going to be eliminated. Vendors who supply the plant with material to keep it running. Safety companies who provide PPE. Insurance, small town shops who rely on people in town to have discretionary income to spend. Bars and restaurants that people who work at the plant frequent for lunch or maybe even happy hour. It's a domino effect. If this facility were located where I live and it decided to shut down and move to China, people would be pissed off about it, but economically, really not that big of a deal. There are plenty of jobs around here, over 1 million people in a 60-mile radius. The economic impact would be minimal. But you move this facility to China from a town of 2,800 people, and the economic impact is devastating and long lasting. Caledonia, Minnesota may never recover from this. An American town ruined because Major League Baseball wanted to cozy up to China. All right, time to let me know what you think. Give me your thoughts on this story. Do you think Major League Baseball shut down this plant for financial reasons or because they wanted to get deeper in bed with China? Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys later.